Imagine this. You're a German parent in 1940. Your mailbox contains an official letter from the Reich Health Ministry. Your disabled child has been selected for special treatment at a modern clinic. A gray bus will arrive tomorrow morning. Pack warm clothes and say goodbye. You're relieved. Finally, the state is helping. 3 weeks later, another letter. We regret to inform you your child died of pneumonia. Inside, a small urn with someone else's ashes. This happened to tens of thousands of families. It wasn't a mistake. It was policy. The program had a name, Aktion T4. And it began with one sentence handwritten by Adolf Hitler in late September 1939, backdated to the first day of the war. Life unworthy of life must be ended. The order was never published. It was passed to only 2 men, Hitler's personal physician, Dr. Karl Brandt, and the head of the Chancellery of the Führer, Philip Buhler. Their headquarters, a quiet villa at Tiergartenstraße 4 in Berlin. That's why the program was simply called T4. Staff, barely 40 people. But they held the power of life and death over every disabled person in the Reich. First victims, children under 3 years old. A new department opened in 1939, the Reich Committee for the Scientific Registering of Serious Hereditary and Congenital Illnesses. Every midwife and doctor was required by law to report Down syndrome, missing limbs, cerebral palsy, even idiocy or Mongolism. Over 5,000 children were selected in the first year alone. Parents received the same letter. Gray buses with blackened windows arrived. No one ever saw the children again. 6 killing centers were built disguised as hospitals. Hartheim Castle in Austria. 18,269 victims. Hadamar, where local people called it the House of Shutters because of the constant smoke. Grafnik, the first gas chamber test site. Sonnenstein in Saxony. Bernburg, Brandon, where carbon monoxide was first used on humans in January 1940. The method was simple. Patients were led into rooms disguised as showers. Steel doors closed. A doctor turned a wheel. Carbon monoxide flowed. 20 to 30 people died in 20 minutes. Doctors watched through peepholes and took notes for scientific research. Bodies were immediately cremated. Families received an urn, often filled with random ashes, and a death certificate listing pneumonia, heart attack, or appendicitis. Doctors were paid bonuses, 100 Reichsmarks per adult, 75 for children. By August 1941, the official count painted on Hadamar's wall reached 70,273. The staff celebrated with beer, but people began to notice. The smoke never stopped. The gray buses never returned. On August 3rd, 1121, Catholic Bishop Clemens August von Galen stood in Münster Cathedral and delivered a sermon that shook the Reich. If today they kill the unproductive, tomorrow they will kill you. The sermon was printed and distributed illegally across Germany. Hitler received hundreds of protest letters, even from within the Nazi Party. Under pressure, on August 24th, 1941, Hitler ordered the stopping of Aktion T4. But the killing never actually stopped. It simply went underground as wild euthanasia. No more paperwork. Same doctors. Same gas. Same crematoriums. From 1941 to 1945, another 200,000 plus were murdered. quietly. Total victims of Action T4 and its continuation. Between 300,000 and 400,000, this was the first industrialized mass murder of the Third Reich. It was the proving ground for everything that followed. Gas chambers perfected, deception techniques mastered, doctors turned into professional killers. Many T4 personnel were later transferred east. Victor Brack, one of the program's architects, went on to organize Operation Reinhardt, the extermination camps, at the Nuremberg doctors' trial in 1946. 1947, 20 men charged. Karl Brandt and Victor Brack were hanged in Noat, but most received light sentences or acquitted with the words, "I was only following orders." Over 100 T4 doctors returned to normal medical practice after. Today, at Tiergartenstraße 4 in Berlin, there stands a quiet Hadamar and part-time have museums. In 2023, Germany finally published the last known victim names, but thousands remain unnamed. Action T4 wasn't just murder. It was a society that taught its doctors to kill and its people to look away. Type T4 inches in the comments if you made it to the end. Dark files. Some truths should stay buried. We dig them up anyway.